All right, so big news this week.
Yes.
The internet has been ablaze, I'd say, for 3-4 months about Good Morning Football, the future of the popular show on the network, a Sports Emmy winning show.
Yeah.
All right, so you're back July 29th.
We are back.
It's big news. The show's gonna look a little bit different. It's gonna be on multiple platforms. We'll get into all this good stuff.
Okay.
But let's start, Joe, with this. What the hell happened, Jamie? How did we get here? What's going on?
I just want to say a lot of those questions that were on the internet probably were from like ghost accounts by me. Like I had questions too. I think we all, that was a challenging couple of months. Let's start the story this way. In March 8th, I think we all found out that this was happening to Good Morning Football, that we were leaving New York and the show was moving to Los Angeles. I was like 36 weeks pregnant. So I had just come off the combine in Indianapolis. I was just lucky to not give birth at the combine. And I come back and we're like, great, we're going to rock through free agency. Okay. I got some vacation booked, maternity leave. It's going to be great. We pop up with our bosses one day in early March and they give us this news. And I was so surprised. You hear rumblings of just the nature of the industry and changes. And, there is a studio at NFL Films in South Jersey and Manhattan is very expensive. And you listen to things, but mostly you just want to do the job. This was so not a direction, literally, west that I thought it could ever go. I can only speak for myself that I just love my chair and the show so much and the position the show has within the NFL that I was going to do anything to stay a part of it. And that meant committing to the move before I had my third daughter at March 30th. And my entire maternity leave has been spent moving my family from New Jersey to Los Angeles. We got here in the middle of June and we're going to start rehearsing next week and we've got new teammates but it's been really hard. It's been a challenge because the show is so team-based, but these were all really personal decisions to make, I think, for everyone involved in the show. And so I'm somebody who likes to talk things through, and so I'm constantly just like, oh, how are the guys? What's everybody going to do? And it affected a lot of people behind the scenes, which was hard to see happen. But the health and the future of the show was kind of at risk, and you wanted to move forward together and you wanted it to stay on the air. So people made decisions that were important and impactful. And lo and behold, here we are going to come on the air from Englewood on July 29th and on Roku for a couple of the hours of the day. And
that's right. So that's one of the new things here. So it's Good Morning Football, which traditionally had been a 7 to 10 Eastern time show, 4 to 7 Pacific show. Now going to be Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. on NFL Network. So it starts 1 hour later. That's 5 a.m. Pacific time. We'll get to that momentarily here. Also, a new extension series, GMFB Overtime, premieres July 29th, streams Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to noon on the Roku channel, which is where we are. So thanks, everybody, for watching Roku. You'll be seeing a lot more of Jamie Erdahl moving forward. So now, a 4-hour show. How is the overtime version of this going to differ from the traditional Good Morning Football?
I think it will have the same avenues, but in terms of football, I think the big thing is it will be on Roku. It will also be nationally syndicated from that 10 to 12 Eastern spot. So the big thing is we want to speak to the broader audience. I think then, certain fans are going to go to NFL Network to hear certain, just maybe a more intensified version of our football takes and our conversations and the news. Then you flip over to Roku, and to be syndicated, you want to welcome a broader conversation at times, I think. So it's still going to be, it's the first ever sports talk show put into national syndication, which is a really cool flex to be a part of. But you want it to have almost start to drip into the talk show feel, if you will, when it's on Roku and in syndication. And my new teammate Akbar, who is like classically trained now in the talk show world, that I'm so excited to sit next to him because Jason McCourty decided not to make the move with the show.
Right.
So Akbar is going to be next to me every day, and I'm just so excited to learn from him and work with him. So I think it's going to almost be a little broader in those second 2 hours where you're going to see on Roku and then in syndication.
So Peter Schrager, Kyle Brandt, obviously two of the OGs on Good Morning Football.
Yes.
They're going to stay based with their families in New York.
Yeah, and you'll see them out here. I mean, we can't do angry runs all the time from like a little closet in the East Coast. Like, you got to get Kyle.
So Kyle will have to angry run himself from coast to coast a handful of times throughout the course of the season. How does that impact the dynamic, though? Because I know that, listen, social media is a terrible judge of anything, but all the complaints that are registered. Listen, I get all the complaints registered about myself. You see them about why are we screwing up the best show on it? It is different. You're going to have a lot of the time those two in New York, maybe in a studio together, maybe on home cam sometimes, however that ends up shaking out, but they're not sitting. Like, the beauty of the show for a long time was the four people sitting around the breakfast table. It was this, being in person. It's not the same. We did those shows in 2020. I filled in on a lot of them, and doing it in the 4-box on Zoom cameras because we weren't allowed to leave the house, not as fun as sitting around the breakfast table. How will the dynamic change, and how do you overcome the inherent kind of lack of human contact that's there?
The short answer is I just don't know how it's going to change yet. I don't know the answer to that question. I'm trying to be an optimist about it. What I am optimistic about is that I know Peter and Kyle very well. I've just now done 20 months worth of shows with them 5 days a week through 2 intense football seasons. I've seen the ins and outs, how they both operate. So if anyone was going to be remote and away from me physically, it can be those two, because I can still read them well enough to hopefully push them places and get them to go to their entertaining capacities. Not knowing Akbar, that's better that he's next to me every day, because now I'm like, I just met him. I just saw him in the flesh last night for the first time. We met up in the town that we happen to both live in.
Did he do any ninja stuff with you, or was
he
he totally
right at the
cool?
Right, exactly. No, what an impressive human. Like, that's a whole other segment of television. Yeah. But I'm glad that he's with me and we can grow together the way Jason McCourty and I did when we started. And then I'm okay with those guys making the decision that they did, because it was important for them to stay where they were in the capacity that their family life would have been affected. And I know that we'll see them. They'll keep the show alive. I mean, those two, in my opinion, are the editorial North Star of GMFB, Peter Schrager and Kyle Brandt. Like, the show can't do much, I think, without their engine at times.
Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.